Okay, in this video, we're going to sharpen a pair of fabric scissors, or shears they're called. And these are extremely fine. The metal is very fine. The finish on these is very fine. You're never supposed to cut anything except fabric because these are so cleanly sharpened on both the top and the inside blades. If you try to cut some paper, you'll start to dull these and they won't work on fabric anymore. So here's how we use these on fabric shears. You want to open these up with the select tool. You want to use where it says the shear and scissor sharpener. It's right here. Shear and scissor sharpener right here. It points to that little notch. So put that face up and then just put your blade in here and make sure that the flat of this blade is flat against this inside guide. You'll feel that. Just put the blade in here and stand it up till it stops. See that? The flatter you can keep that, the better this is going to work. Now don't use heavy pressure at all. Use very light. Very light. So begin sharpening and start at the tip and just make sure that blade stays flat against the guide. And every stroke, it's pretty light. You don't have to use a lot of pressure. We weren't out working with this with construction paper or normal things we put scissors on. We've just been sharpening, we've just been cutting fabric. And to check yourself out, make sure you've got that right alignment. Just flatten that blade against that guide with every stroke, and you'll feel a nice, clean, smooth edge. And that's how we know it's nice and sharp. Now go ahead and repeat and do the exact same thing. I recommend you start here at the tip, okay? Flatten that tip against that notch, and that guide will hold the blade perfectly straight with every sharpening stroke. Same idea. Nice and clean, finish down here at the base, as deep into that blade as you can get. I will mention that sometimes you might have a pair of scissors where they may only open up but this far. And if you have to finish off a pair of scissors, use the front part of this sharpener that sticks out like that front little part right there. And you can allow your scissor blade to get way deep in here, because it's the corner of that insert, not the flat part, the corner that does the sharpening work. So you can let that get way in there, and the guide here can rest against the front, and that'll hold that blade nice and clean so you can get deep into a narrow crotch just like that. Now work off the little burr, okay? We're not completely done yet though. When it comes to sewing scissors, fabric shears, you can extend the insert like we've shown in another video. Take that screw out and move the insert up, because what you want to do is use the front sharpener to sharpen the inside part of that blade, and use the flat. So you put that blade in there and make it flat. And if you want to use your thumb to keep that blade from moving offline, you go ahead, because if those scissors, if they raise up a little bit, you'll start to bevel the inside edge and you'll ruin these. So please keep that blade flat against that guide, and then nice and square. See, not much pressure at all. And use your thumb to keep that blade nice and, now you don't have to use a lot of pressure on that, but just keep it on there. And you'll feel, and you'll hear all the way to the tip, nice and clean. This is working the inside blade. And then turn these over and do the same thing. Keep that nice and flat, nice soft medium pressure, not forceful at all. Go all the way down, hold that blade nice and firm, and that's how you get the inside blade nice and clean. Now, snip that a little bit and you'll hear it's nice and clean. Now what I like to do is to finish these off with the kitchen steel. Alright, and the kitchen steel, we'll take whatever that might be remaining on there and work that off. Now once again, keep this perfectly flat. You can use your finger on the top of there. Do not let it rise up. Don't let it bevel the inside edge. If you make a mistake, let it roll the other direction. But go back and forth on there. Right, all the way. Right there. and then switch, Blade 2. And same idea. Keep your finger flat on top of that, all the way to the tip. And if you have to work to the very tip of this steel, you go ahead, you get that right there. Because that will make the inside blade very smooth. Okay? And that's how you sharpen a pair of fabric shears. You don't have to replace these, you don't have to buy a new pair. You don't even need to take them out and get them professionally sharpened. Just follow that technique. I do recommend that you start with an older pair that perhaps are worn out, that are not your best scissors, to get some practice, just because you want to have some confidence when you go after your best pair. You will get a nice sharp edge if the inside blade gets a little scarred up, okay? That's just an artifact of this. We can't really help that a whole lot. If you don't like that, you can always spend $20, $30, $40, take them out to a professional, get them sharpened that way. I understand if that's not acceptable to you. Other people, they just want their scissors sharp. That's not that big of a deal. That's how we can get it, how you can do that. And that's the technique, and that's the right process. You use the select tool, you use the kitchen steel, finish it off, keep these as sharp as you can for the rest of your life. Happy sharpening.